That is the hardest part of that ring.
For the hardest part of the ring.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the hardest part of the ring.
Hello and welcome to episode 179 of Hardest Part of the Ring, the podcast where four friends get together, sometimes three friends, sometimes two. Have we done two? We've never done a solo. One day that's going to happen.
No. It was looking quite close this week, wasn't it?
It was. And we celebrate the wonder of professional wrestling. Although our love for professional wrestling has truly been tested over the last few years, and I'm sure we'll get to that. We're going to talk about AEW Double or Nothing very shortly, but before that, let's introduce the two wonderful men who are joining me, Adam, today on this podcast. You guessed it, it's Sam.
Boom.
And he did the thumb. He did the Adam Cole thumb.
Of course I did.
And it's John.
Hello. Oh, I really wanted John to pick up on that and then do the...
Oh, yeah, J-O-N.
I'm doing all this camera stuff for an audio podcast.
Yeah, Sam just did the DMD point, which was completely pointless because he didn't say it. He just did it on camera. But you can picture him doing that right now. The last podcast was 2 weeks ago. We had episode 5 of Follow the Feud, which is, of course, following the feud between Daniel Bryan and The Authority. I love it when we get to see Daniel Bryan like now, like seeing him on this pay-per-view and then thinking back to what we've just been watching and how much has happened in between.
I think he's gotten better looking.
He's very handsome at the moment, isn't he? Good hairstyle.
The cut-off T-shirt helped, didn't it?
Yeah,
Good look. It's a good look for anyone.
We should do Follow the Feud, Mark Henry, where he just goes around following the food.
Are you fat-shaming?
Yeah, I am.
Fair enough, I've done that to you.
No, nothing for Follow the Feud. Do you know what? I come to this podcast with gold.
Felt a little bit forced.
It was a little bit. I could have worked on it a bit more. I could have waited.
It needs to be more organic, like with
That's
part
right.
of it, you know.
The reason I didn't laugh is because it wasn't funny.
See, that was funny.
This podcast is going to be AEW Double or Nothing 2022 review, and I reckon we'll just get straight into it straight after this break.
Bam! Right to the throat on the apron, which is the hardest part of the entire ring. We can't stress that enough.
AEW Double or Nothing 2022 was held at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Have either of you been to Vegas before?
Nope.
Yes.
Oh, Sam, tell us about it. Why did you go? Was it just you?
Went on holiday. No, I went with my parents.
How old were you?
That's a weird place to go on a family holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. To be fair, I was 21, I think. I might have been a bit older than that. And then 20-something or other. But it was more that kind of Vegas was a stop-off on a part of an American road trip sort of thing.
Okay.
So it wasn't like kind of specifically going to Vegas, but yeah. Been to Vegas twice, enjoyed it. The T-Mobile Arena, I've filled it up with my graphics many a time.
I wonder what you're going to say there. And it was really dirty in my head, and I'm not sure why.
Oh, John. No, every time there's a boxing event in the T-Mobile Arena, you're probably looking at my graphics in there, filling up all the big screens, all the ribbons and the centre hung.
That's great. That is really cool.
That's my claim to fame.
Nice. I went to Vegas when I was 19, so I couldn't drink or gamble.
Oh, right.
What did you
sounds
do?
like fun.
Yeah, a bit pointless, really. We just walked around and looked at people gambling. The attendance was 14,459, and as we were told multiple times, that's a record for Double or Nothing. It's their 4th year. I think we were told by Tony Schiavone quite a lot.
Oh, third year anniversary.
Third Double or Nothing, but they're into their 4th year. This is the problem me and you always have, John, when it comes to counting.
Yeah. Because I was saying the other day, we've done 5 years of this podcast, but actually we haven't quite. It's 5 years in October.
No, I thought we've done 5 years and we're into our 6th. Oh my God, I hate this. I hate maths.
We haven't clocked 5 yet, because it was 2017, and now we're in 2022, but it was October, was it? Anyway, who cares? Certainly not the listener. The comms team, Tony Schiavone, as we mentioned, was with Excalibur and Jim Ross. I think Jim Ross he was great in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he had some good points. I think
great might be strong.
Well, I just thought he's not messing up as much as he has.
Well, he's not messing up as much, but there were definitely a couple of moments of some snide comments from both Jim Ross and Tony here and there. Just a couple of digs at the product, maybe.
Okay, Fair
which
enough.
I picked up on.
Interesting. Hopefully we'll get to hear about some of those. We're going to do the card now, so I'm going to go and get something to eat. Probably got about 10 minutes.
Cool.
Sam.
Welcome to part 1 of the Double or Nothing card. So the buy-in, Hook and Danhausen versus Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling.
Nice.
Smart Mark Sterling.
First match, he's already fucked up.
Bucks.
One mistake. Boom.
He gonna pay for that. He messed up big time.
The main card, MJF versus Wardlow. If Wardlow won, he would be released from his contract from MJF and be allowed to sign with AEW. Tag team action, the Young Bucks versus them Hardy Boys. They're not allowed to be called the Hardy Boys, though, are they? They're the Hardy Brothers.
Oh, is that true?
Legally.
Is that really? I never even picked up
I
on
think
that.
so. I don't think they're allowed to be called... Well, I mean, there's two problems with calling them the Hardy Boys. The first is that it's WWE copyright, probably. The second is that they are very clearly not boys anymore.
Very clearly.
They're the ghosts of Hardy's past.
Yeah. TBS Championship, Jade Cargill defending against Anna Jay. Trios action, the House of Black versus Death Triangle, accompanied by Jose Aparantis.
Oh,
Is it Jose Aparantis?
no idea, but well done for going for it.
Well, don't well done me. Yeah, I might have that wrong. Alex Abrahantis. Yeah, completely wrong. Men's Owen Hart tournament final, Adam Cole, baby, versus Samoa Joe. Women's Owen Hart tournament final, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Ruby Soho. More trios action, mixed tag action. Ethan Page, Scorpio Sky, and Paige Van Zandt, American Top Team, taking on Frankie Kazarian, Sammy Guevara, and Tay Conte.
Shall we just have a little interval in the card? Okay.
If American Top Team won that match, then Sammy and Frankie Kazarian could no longer challenge Scorpio Sky for the TNT Championship.
Weird stip, that. Very
Weird stipulation. That whole thing is just bizarre. Speaking of bizarre, just random match in the middle of all of this. Kyle O'Reilly taking on Darby Allin.
Yeah, because Kyle O'Reilly hurt Sting. That was the setup to this match.
Fair enough. Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb for the AEW Worlds, the AEW Women's Championship. Anarchy in the Arena, the Jericho Appreciation Society. That's Chrissy Jericho, Daniel Garcia, Jake Hager, Angelo Parker, and Daddy Magic Matt Menard taking on the Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz. More on that later. Tag team action, Jurassic Express taking on Swerve in Their Glory.
Oh, yeah.
Is what they were going by.
That is
Oh, I quite like that.
It's not on Wikipedia yet, though.
Not bad. Yeah. Versus Team Taz, that's Powerhouse Hobbs and Ricky Starks for the World Tag Championships. And then finally, the main event, Hangman Adam Page defending his World Championship against CM Punk.
My God.
12 matches, not including buy-in.
4 hours 39, was it?
Oh, something
It's
stupid
closer
like
to
that.
5 than that, wasn't it, I think?
Fuck's sake.
I thought it was 4:39.
Oh, bloody hell.
Honestly.
Can we just get that out of the way? That is atrocious. Like, I don't care how much I like AEW. 4 hours 39 minutes of it is a lot.
Yeah.
A way too much lot.
Most of the matches I really like could easily be on an episode of Dynamite or from this pay-per-view as well.
I mean, this is the thing, is that, do you remember back to old NXT, the takeovers? What they would do is they would put on those 4 or 5 hour pay-per-views, but they would record a couple of the matches at the pay-per-view and then use those on the next week's NXT.
Yes, they would.
My God, could Dynamite learn from this? Because, like, if I was a fan and I was going to go see it live, great, I would be well happy with 4 hours 39 minutes of AEW wrestling live.
I don't know, even then,
with an
that's a
interval.
lot.
Maybe with a
With
break.
an interval,
Yeah.
But watching it all in one stream, oh my God, that's such a mission.
Yeah. I mean, Young Bucks Hardys, TV match. House of Black, Death Triangle, TV match. Kyle O'Reilly, Darby Allin, TV match.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what doesn't help,
yeah.
while we're having a rant, because I know there's going to be some good stuff to talk about here. Not only is it 4 hours 39, which when you sent that message on the group, I was like, oh, fucking hell. And I struggled with motivation to watch this massively. But that's mostly on me, not necessarily on AEW. But they didn't help me. Like, I haven't been watching any AEW for weeks. They really didn't help me. So many of these matches just have no video.
I thought, could you imagine if they had to do video packages?
I
My
know.
God, this would have been 8 hours long.
It
But
is
for example,
weird they don't do it, especially like the MJF Wardlow match.
Yeah,
I can't imagine what's that like if you haven't watched the build, because that doesn't make any sense, that match at all.
At least that build has been going on for so long that I did know what was going on there. But I've missed like the last couple of months of TV. I haven't been watching. And I mean, we'll get to the main event, but the main event video was absolutely shit. It didn't give anything. It didn't make me excited to watch it at all.
I mean, to be honest, the build for each of these matches, they all have their kind of own storied history, some of which have been built up over many weeks, like MJF Wardlow, some of which, whilst they've been built up, haven't really landed at all, like Hangman Page versus CM Punk.
Oh, we can talk about that later. Strongly
Let's talk
disagree.
about that. But just a general point about the video packages has still got a long way to go.
It just seems like such an easy win.
Yeah.
It's good social content as well, to get people hyped up and get them to buy stuff. Just easy to do.
But I struggle to feel invested in any of these matches in a way. There are a couple that I was like, oh fuck, I love these guys, this is going to be good. So the trios match and then Kyle O'Reilly Derby. But anyway, we are going to talk positively because there was some good stuff, so don't you worry.
Amazing stuff.
There will be talk of the key matches, which will be MJF versus Wardlow, both the Owen Hart Cup finals and of course that main event that we just referenced. We'll talk about anything else that we liked. We'll talk about anything that we didn't like. There will be some stuff. I mean, I doubt this is going to be reaching the echelons of previous AEW pay-per-views in terms of scores, but we will find that out at the end. Who knows? Maybe I'm totally wrong and these guys are going to give it a 10. That'll happen in the overall rank. And we'll do a star performer as well just before that. Let's kick things off with the first key match, the first match of the pay-per-view, the one that John was just talking about that didn't have much of a VT to let us know about the build. It was MJF versus Wardlow. And do we need to start by referencing all this stuff that's been happening with MJF during the week, John? What do you think?
I think we do, because I do think it played a part in the match. So on the Saturday, there was meant to be a meet. Everyone probably knows this, but just in case you don't, there was meant to be a meet and greet. MJF was meant to be there. He no-showed. And there was loads of rumours going on around online that there was and apparently this was true, there was a plane booked under his name to go back to, was it Long Island? Before Double or Nothing. And that he was going to no-show the pay-per-view. Like all the big reporters, like wrestling reporters, were reporting on this. Like, this wasn't just like some weird stuff going around. There was loads of stories going around, but from like reputable sources. So there's lots of drama. And so when the pay-per-view kicks off, and this is the first match, and there's that lot, like MJF's music starts, and there's a long pause until he comes out. And everyone's a bit like, ooh, and then he comes out. He makes the aeroplane sort of mime, and sort of did a cry face to the crowd as well. And I don't know. I found this match weird. I think the build to this match has been phenomenal, especially the last few weeks. The way and how long they've been building this is a testament to like long form storytelling, and how they've built Wardlow up from a hired thug into this super over guy is just a testament to like really good booking, because I could not give a two shits about Wardlow about 6 months ago.
Same actually.
Yeah,
I do really like him now.
He's been so good. Like a few weeks ago, they did a whipping segment where MJF got to whip Wardlow 10 times for him to get this match, and that segment was so good. And the way Wardlow like no-sold it and stuff was brilliant. And like the way he was doing the Goldberg entrance as well, like just really cool. But the match itself was a bit weird. Like I wasn't expecting a squash, which this was. Like MJF did a couple of heel stuff, like sort of evaded capture, just get out of the ring. But then Wardlow got him 10 power bombs, and the match is over.
This is so interesting because obviously it's very much tied up with the larger story around what's happening with MJF. For my money, I think the whole thing is a work, because I think kind of there's no one more dedicated to his character than MJF. this is straight off the back of the Sasha Banks Naomi walkout story, which kind of feels almost too coincidental that now all of a sudden an AEW wrestler is threatening a walkout. And I just don't think... I don't buy it, if I'm completely honest.
I don't think it's worked, just because I don't see how it plays into like in the storyline at the moment, or
you see, I think Tony Khan and MJF are doing a Vince McMahon and Ted DiBiase thing here, where they're trying to blur the lines of kayfabe and reality by basically leaking these kind of stories out and sort of playing the cards very close to their chest. Time will tell with it. I think if AEW lose if AEW lose MJF, that's going to be one of the biggest missteps they could possibly manage, because my God, could you imagine a more vitriolic wrestler to take the microphone in WWE and bury a rival company?
It'd be perfect.
Yeah, I don't think it matters how much money he's asking for. Just pay him. He's so
to be perfectly
valuable.
honest, in my opinion, MJF is possibly the most valuable player on the AEW roster by a considerable margin.
Maybe CM Punk?
Young. No.
No, okay, I know what you mean. But I mean,
he's young.
That would be shocking.
He's young and he's talented, and he knows what makes his character tick. More than any other person on the roster, he is someone who is he is the complete package, and if he was to win the title tomorrow, it wouldn't seem out of place.
No, and it feels like that it did feel like that was kind of eventually, like, surely he would get a title at some point. It feels like he's going to be off TV for a while, because obviously he was stretched out after the match.
Yeah, with the air mask over his nose and eyes.
Well, there were a couple of those power bombs that he landed awkwardly. He put his hands down as if he was trying to stop it from being bashed on the back or something. But
he has been in back-to-back feuds as well with some pretty heavy-hitting stuff.
Yeah.
Like, Darby Allin, CM Punk, and now Wardlow. Those
even Jericho before that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean... Oh, this is weird. I've just noticed Brett has signed in onto the running order. What's going on there?
This is probably Brett checking what the title of the podcast is so he can do the artwork for us. Good old Brett.
Bastard. Get on the podcast,
Shall we boot him out?
Brett.
Right at the top. Right, listener, we're now going to troll Brett. He's in the running order. Fuck off. Actually, I shouldn't say that. We want him to do the artwork, don't we? I'll just say
we do.
Hi, Brett. Cool.
Sorry, completely lost my train of thought there. MJF is, in my opinion, the most important person in the AEW roster at the moment, and Tony Khan should be doing whatever he can to keep him on there, because he's the most valuable asset by a mile.
Adam, as someone that's not been watching the weekly TV, how was it watching this match with no video package? And
well, because this has been going on for a while, and I have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed the story a lot. I love the way, months ago, they'd be doing a backstage promo, and MJF would be getting in these little ribs into Wardlow, and Wardlow would be looking frustrated. So I've been looking forward to this payoff. I had no idea he didn't already have a contract. Like, that was confusing to me.
I think that's kayfabe, right? He must already have a contract.
Well, he has had matches. Like, I could understand him not having an AEW contract if he was literally just like the hired help or the bruiser, but he's had matches, so
yeah, I mean, he obviously was. It is kayfabe, yeah.
But that's what I mean. It's like, well, then, but if they, like, why? I don't know. I just did that. That was something I didn't get, because there was no package and there was nothing to really explain that. But
sure,
crowd was super over though. Like, the crowd was so hot for this match.
I did like it. You did. I mean, you pointed out it was a squash, and I guess actually when you're talking about MJF and we're talking about how big a deal he is and will be and can be, then maybe it is a bit weird. But at the same time, these power bombs are supposed to be, a devastating move. He did take 10 of them. There was one where there was a lot of MJF dick in Wardlow's face. Did you spot that one?
Yeah.
Where it went a bit weird, he got a bit too high.
And
basically had a mouthful of MJF dick. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. And the crowd love Wardlow, which is pretty cool.
Really love him.
They really do.
He got emotional.
Yep.
I don't know where they're going to go now, because the crowd have enjoyed the chase. The crowd have enjoyed seeing MJF get his, and Wardlow kind of fighting against the odds to get to where he's at. And now it's like, okay, cool. what's next, because
Bit like-
maybe you put him in a feud with CM Punk, but realistically, he's, first of all, like, whoever feuds first with CM Punk isn't going over, so that's fine, because like, you know, he can challenge, he can lose, but is he really a credible challenger for that title? Probably not.
Yeah, it's really hard. It's a bit like the whole Asuka unbeaten streak. You know, once Wardlow has that loss, it's going to be really hard for him. You know, like they've had such this big build for him now. Where they've made him look like a superhero.
Exactly, and it's just kind of difficult to see where he goes. Whereas MJF, like, first of all, I don't think he should have actually lost this match. I think he should have won it because he's been on the losing end of most feuds recently. But he can still continue to ascend. Even in defeat, he can continue to work his way up the ladder.
Yeah.
It just works for him. He's kind of got that Ric Flair-esque kind of, like, run to him. So, yeah, I mean, bigger and better things for both of them, although I'd be a bit worried for Wardlow's kind of trajectory from here.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see where he goes. Good luck to him. I mean, it's been an amazing feud. It really has.
It really has been. Wardlow's really carried himself with a cool level of charisma, very similar to kind of the way Roman Reigns carries himself, kind of very stoic but intimidating.
And actually, when I look down this card, this is the only feud on the card that I knew about. If, like, every other match are feuds that have come up in the last couple of months when I haven't been watching, I think.
Well, shall we move on to the next match?
Yes. So the next key match is going to be the first of the Owen Hart. What's it actually called? Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament. So this was the final. And again, I had no idea what was happening here. And when I saw it was Adam Cole versus Samoa Joe, I was like, oh, fuck, yes, that's great. Obviously, you know, we had a lot of fun watching those guys in NXT back in the day. And I was excited for this match. But Sam, what did you make of it? What have you made of the tournament and the build?
So, yeah, I mean, if I'm completely honest, I've been disappointed by the tournament.
Okay.
Well, there's some good matches in there.
There have been good matches in there. There have been plenty of good matches in there. Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler especially stands out as one of my favourites, if not my favourite match of the tournament.
Did you see the Adam Cole versus the other one of those guys?
Tomohiro Ishii. Oh, Adam Cole versus Dax Harwood.
Yes, that was a great match.
Yes. Yeah, so I did enjoy that match as well, and I think kind of generally I think it's been an okay tournament. I think my problems with it are predictability. I think kind of it was always going to be Adam Cole in the final against probably Samoa Joe. And unfortunately, I was kind of hoping they would go for a more sports approach similar to New Japan's tournament structure with the round robins, how they do with the best of the Super Juniors or the G1, as opposed to a straight knockout tournament.
Okay.
Just because, like, I feel whenever you have a straight knockout tournament, it's kind of, especially in wrestling, you're always going to have fairly knocked on results. Like, you could look at a bracket and be like, yeah, okay, this person's going to be going all the way to the final.
That's true.
Whereas kind of a round robin tournament, you get a little bit more mileage out of it. It means that your top stars can actually lose a match to someone lower down the card and it won't ruin their momentum.
It's true, actually.
And if you look at the depth of the AEW roster, they're screaming. They are absolutely screaming to kind of put these people into good matches. They've got too many people, and it's like, yeah.
That's interesting,
they bought it down.
because this week I think they've finalised the lineup for the Progress Super Strong Style tournament. And I was looking at the lineup, and John Morrison's wrestling in it.
Oh, Johnny
Seen
Elite.
that? Yeah.
Johnny Elite.
But I was looking at the lineup, I was like, God, this is underwhelming, mostly because I don't really know anybody good on the indie scene anymore. I'm sure there are some stars, but they used to get some great people. They used to get Keith Lee and Matt Riddle and great people coming over to do it. But I was like, oh, a load of these names I don't know. But in a way, 8 of those names are going to lose a first round match. So it's like they're not going to book an absolute superstar import to come and lose their first match.
No, for sure. I mean, at the end of the day, like, kind of, I feel like it's a little bit disingenuous for me to complain about the tournament structure, because ultimately it's a knockout tournament. The Cruiserweight Classic is a knockout tournament. The King of the Ring is a knockout. It's just, that's the way it is. I feel like AEW could have done more because of the depth of their roster to have done something a bit more involved. But
it takes so long though. If you think about the G1,
I know, but then like that's also the thing, is that like You know,
have a little
got two
few
weekly
little mini
shows.
leagues, a bit confusing and a bit long, and they
Yeah.
were building to this pay-per-view, obviously, but
Maybe. I think kind of it's just one of those
Yeah.
things. But the match itself was a good match, although with a couple of caveats. And the first is I'm not into Adam Cole anymore.
I know what you mean. I feel similar. Like NXT,
It's not-
amazing. Since it's
great
been
start,
AEW,
great debut, obviously, fucking huge debut.
Sure. It's not that I dislike Adam Cole either. He seems like a really nice guy who knows his character. I feel like there's just been no growth from NXT Adam Cole all the way up to current AEW Adam Cole. And so to kind of continue on the Undisputed Era in this kind of Undisputed Elite kind of format just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, I find it a little bit tired as well, and it does feel like Kyle O'Reilly is kind of the standout one of that chair.
Is it just the case,
Yeah,
like
for
when
sure.
you're looking down the card and you're seeing like Keith Lee and Swerve being stuck together, they've just got all these great wrestlers who they're just having to shove into these mid-card matches. I know
Yeah.
that, I mean, this isn't mid-card when you're in the final of an inaugural cup competition, but there's a lot of people who can't be near the top of the card. He had his title match. It was all right, wasn't it? I know what you're saying, but
Yeah, he's absolutely fine. Like, I don't dislike Adam Cole. I just don't feel excited by him anymore. He's a relationship that's grown stale.
Yeah, when he was in NXT, I honestly thought he was like the top wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
But now, I don't think he's in the top 10.
where's he in our top wrestler list that we did on episode 150? What was it, episode 100? I'll have a look.
Why you do that? I just want Samoa Joe. Oh my god, I love that man so much.
Boy.
He's so good.
I tell you
and
what,
so
this was-
fast and brutal.
I was
God, so
trying
good.
to think back to like the last time I enjoyed a Samoa Joe match before this one. And I was thinking probably Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar.
Wow.
Oh really? Did you watch the when he wrestled Johnny Elite?
I did watch the Johnny Elite and how they messed all of that up.
Yeah. But I thought that was a
How
great match.
excited
I thought that was a really good match.
That was actually a really good match. The crowd got so excited for when it said Johnny
Yeah.
Elite, and everyone thought, "Oh my god, it's Johnny Gargano," and then it wasn't.
So did I. Who doesn't?
Well, so did AEW Twitter. They even said it's Johnny Gargano, and yeah, absolute dropped the ball on that one.
Sorry, I was going to say this would be a good time to tell you. Adam Cole was 42nd in our top 50. So
just
Was that
episode
in
150,
episode 150
which was
or
on
episode 50?
sorry, episode 50. So that changed. Then we did it for 150, didn't we? Okay, episode 50, which was November 2018. Adam Cole was 42nd.
Okay.
I'm afraid there's a problem with the running orders because this also says it's episode 150. Sorry, guys. I don't know what to do.
God, this is
Wow.
great,
This
great
is
content.
Did we have a
Poor,
spreadsheet?
Well, while Sam looks up that, Adam, do you want to? Shall we
Yeah,
go on
good
to the next
idea.
match?
I mean, I haven't mentioned anything
Are we-
about that
are we-
match really, but
yeah, no, Adam, you give us your view on the Adam Cole Samoa Joe match because we haven't talked about the match.
but
too
we should
much, to
probably
be
move
honest.
on because there's so much to talk about. I think it was an okay match. It was pretty decent. I enjoyed watching them. It felt like a proper fight early on, and I thought Samoa Joe did a good job of selling his shoulder, like digging the fingers into it and stuff. And, to have Bobby Fish come and interrupt and get involved is I don't know, feels like Adam Cole. I don't know. I might like to have a clean win.
I tell you what, it's kind of similar to the Britt Baker issue, right? It just feels like every Britt Baker match has a run in from.
Yeah.
I
mean, we'll get to. Well, I mean, let's go straight
Jamie.
to the next match then, which was the final of the women's version of the tournament. Unless Sam, do you know where Adam Cole came in our top 50 wrestlers on episode 150?
So, interestingly enough, in episode 50, Adam Cole was number 25
Okay.
in our top 50, and Undisputed Era number 23, which kind of is an interesting dichotomy there. But and in episode 150, he had dropped down 17 places to number 42, which is...
So maybe he'll drop out entirely now because the amount of new wrestlers that we love.
Yeah, I think that's highly likely. It's just kind of a shame, really, because it's not that Adam Cole was a bad wrestler. It's that the gimmick has just not moved on from where it was at 4 or 5 years ago. And it turns out there's only so far shouting your name can go.
Oh, I disagree. I still think that bit's really cool.
Fair enough. Actually, that's the best part of his gimmick.
It really is. His entrance.
It might just be that
great.
he just needs a bit more mic time, to be honest.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on to the Owen Hart Foundation Memorial Tournament final for the women. Britt Baker versus Ruby Soho. First off, John, how large was your erection when you saw Rancid on stage?
Do you know what my first thought was? I could not believe how old Tim Armstrong looked. In my head, he's like a young man, like in his mid-30s, but he's 56, bald. And it was cool, though. I'm not a massive Rancid fan, but it was cool seeing him.
I messaged Pip, Scroobius Pip, friend of the podcast, to say, oh my God, Rancid, that's cool. And he was like, yeah, that's great. And he said, I think the people who enjoyed it the most, though, were clearly me and Ruby Soho, because like a lot of the people in the crowd didn't seem that fussed.
This was quite funny, actually, because obviously for Britt Baker's entrance, she had the guitarist from Fozzy, which is just like...
Another old guy.
That's poor.
Every time he's done it a few times, and every time I always have to Google him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is that the guy from like Poison or like one of those old 80s
it's
bands?
They might as well just say, and here is Chris Jericho's mate, because let's face it, no one knows.
He was backstage, he had a guitar.
But like even then, he wasn't even playing the guitar. Like so many times, he was just like taking his hands off it, and it was just like, wait, hold on. So you're just some old dude to jam out. But they earned that entrance just by kind of juxtaposing it with Ruby Soho and Rancid. So kind of like you had the pomp and circumstance of Britt Baker's entry with like, and here's a guitarist playing her in. It's like, now here's a real band playing in a real punk rock kind of wrestler. So that was quite cool, I thought.
The VT for this one was decent. I quite enjoyed it.
Yep.
Particularly, I enjoyed Mark Henry saying, we might have the match of the year. I was like, I doubt it, Mark. I very much doubt it.
Did you notice his T-shirt with the weird Grecian sculptures?
Yeah, that was weird.
But my thoughts going into this were like, I can't wait to see Ruby win this, because she's lost big matches before. Yeah. She's lost to Britt Baker in a title face. This is going to be great. They got Rancid for her. This is going to be ace.
Yep. Even in the VT, they were making it about how she'd lost last time. This is going to be redemption.
Should have been
this match was kick ass. It was good, apart from the finish.
Yeah, 100%
What
agree.
were they thinking?
The counter roll up.
I don't even mind the victory roll up. It feels like a nice kind of a nod to the kind of Hart style of wrestling. It's just Britt Baker winning. Doesn't work. It's like gold on gold. You guys have pushed Britt to the top, and now it's like you're doing it again.
Yeah.
Just Ruby needed this win.
She really
so
did.
Badly.
This is Randy Orton going over Daniel Bryan in 2012. It's just mad. It's a bad move.
Britt did not need this in the slightest.
She didn't. All just so they could have a couple.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
Bad decision.
If this is Randy Orton going over Daniel Bryan in 2012, then that's great in the long run.
Well, it will be if in the next Double or Nothing we have Ruby Soho take out Adam Cole in the first match and then Britt Baker
exactly
triple threat or someone else.
We need Ruby Soho to go down to some anger management classes with Jay Cargill, who's massive, who's a big wrestler, who could take the Kane position. I'm trying to think of a big female wrestler. Nyla Rose.
Oh, surely Lady Kane, whatever her name was.
Lady Kane?
Welsh wrestler girl who was in... I wasn't a fan of her.
Welsh wrestler girl.
Welsh wrestler. Tegan Knox.
Tegan Knox, Welsh wrestler girl.
She was Welsh, wasn't
she? Was, but I just enjoyed you calling her wrestler
Welsh.
girl. Oh, the disrespect.
Cool. Is this in the part of the pod that I can cut out? Yes, it is.
Oh,
okay, cool.
damn. Sam edits the middle.
Tegan Knox, Lady Kane.
Welsh wrestler girl.
Welsh wrestler girl.
Yeah, that was my main thing. I thought the match was okay. But yeah.
Better than the men's? Or not?
No.
I thought it was better than the men's, actually.
I thought it was too.
I thought it was a good match, and I thought Ruby Soho really carried herself well in this match. And my God, I popped so hard when she put her in the sharpshooter, and I was just like, this is it. You're going to win the tournament with a sharpshooter. Perfect. And
it's annoying, isn't it? Yeah.
I understand why, but there were an awful lot of sharpshooters on this.
There were. And all of them were a little bit weird, weren't they? None of them were standing.
None of them look great,
No.
actually. They all look pretty
Sorry,
shit.
sorry. Can we just flag that John appears to be drinking water out of a jug? What is that? It's like a plastic,
It's like, it's
like an ironing. What is it?
Oh, he's drinking
hockey.
out of like a measuring jug.
You know, you get it at like sporting events, you know, pay an extra £1 and you get your £1 back if you
Okay.
give it back, but no one ever gives them back.
How did we feel about the ceremony afterwards when Martha Hart, who stopped in on her way to a wedding, decided to come in and present and do a massive... I fast-forwarded a lot of that speech, a lot of it.
It was quite long, but it felt really heartfelt, and it obviously meant a lot to her, which is nice, because obviously she must feel a little bit jaded about the wrestling industry as a whole.
Yeah.
So I think it was quite I found it quite heartwarming, but also quite...
I thought it's kind of hard to not kind of feel emotional about this, because it's like wrestling has been so brutal to her and her family, and it's almost like kind of, you know what, if this is the way that kind of the Owen Hart story, at least around Martha Hart, finishes, then at least it kind of finishes on a high.
She looked like she was having
a lovely time. Tony Khan looked like he was hopped up on WKD and cocaine.
He always
it looked like she was leading him to the ring, and he was just like no idea where he was. Buzzing. But
he sometimes when he comes to ring, Tony Khan, he looks like, you know, Monty Burns after he's had his treatments.
That's funny, because I always think he looks like Tony Montana from Scarface.
That's mixed of the two.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It was quite cool to have... I don't know, actually. Like, to have the couple represent...
Well, it feels like that's why they had those two win it, just because they go, well, you're going to have to share the trophy, so it might as well go to...
The problem is that there's
place.
a very cynical part of me which is just like, for goodness sakes, like, if you're not part of that elite clique, are you going to get over?
Yeah, and actually that's...
And I feel like this is a very...
That's what I thought for a sec. Maybe it was like when she lost the belt, they were like, but don't worry, sorry Brett, we know you're our number one superstar, we'll let you win the tournament, like that kind of thing. Like keeping, like you say, those ones happy. I was a bit annoyed they didn't... Why the hell didn't they get presented the trophy and both hold a bit of the trophy together, loft it up in the air with the belts on the shoulders? That would have made a great photo.
And doesn't it look like the Euros trophy as well?
Yeah.
That was great.
It does a little bit.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyway, on to next year's, eh?
Yeah.
I'll be happy if they keep doing it yearly.
There's another belt that can't be defended and is a little bit pointless. Just like Braun Strowman's Saudi Greatest Royal Rumble belt.
He's still got that. It's probably the championship belt at
Control Your Narrative.
See, he was supposed to be wrestling down somewhere random in the UK, and it's
no, Adam. We don't follow Braun Strowman.
It's in
Why
the
are you
news.
not gonna learn
It's
this?
the Authors of Pain have started up a new promotion that is putting on matches in England, and Braun Strowman is headlining, but it's being moved
is that
back.
the one in Nottingham?
Yeah, it's got a shit name. It's like Wrestling Entertainment something. Anyway.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Weird story, that.
All right, so final key match we're going to talk about is the big one, is the main event, is CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW Heavyweight Championship, which started 4 hours after the event began. In fact, longer than that, because we had the buy-in as well.
And the crowd were hot.
Do you know what we should say? It's good that we didn't have that fucking ridiculous, what is it, the money... The multi-man match where you have different suits.
Oh, the Casino Battle Royale.
They usually do that here, don't they?
I don't know, but I love the Casino Battle Royale.
Or do they have that all in? Because they're both gambling themed, I've just remembered.
I think all of AEW stuff is gambling themed, but I like the Casino Battle Royale. Screw you guys.
I'm with you, Adam. I'm not.
Get out. Go away. You don't understand wrestling.
So Sam, if it had been a 5-hour, 20-minute pay-per-view and they'd had that match, you would have been happy.
Just saying, there's maybe a couple of matches they could have trimmed from this card.
CM Punk versus Hangman Adam Page for the AEW Championship. I knew nothing about this. All I knew was that they were having a match. So I didn't know anything about the feud. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll get to learn about the feud. Didn't really learn anything about the feud. Has it been any good, Sam?
Right, so the feud in and of itself has been, in my opinion, strange, because I don't think the crowd have reacted the way the wrestlers thought they would react. Hangman Adam Page is going into this feud as killer babyface, kind of like everyone loves him, but he is also going into this feud against someone who transcends kind of the immediate babyface heel dichotomy. He is CM Punk. He is the person who people have been chanting for 7 years.
Icon. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, it's kind of, without trying to overuse the words, Hangman Adam Page is going into the match against a legend of wrestling. And so for him to try and get over was always going to be a tough sell. And the route he decided to take with that was essentially one that was kind of mixed bag, which is Adam Page is the face, but he is trying to protect AEW from interlopers like CM Punk. The problem with that is that CM Punk has never carried himself once as an interloper. He's done nothing but put people over. He's waited a decent amount of time. And even though he's been winning those matches because he's the best in the world or the most established in the world, he's been making other wrestlers look good. So for Adam Page to come in and say, like, you're coming in here, what are you doing? You're invading. It didn't quite land with the fans. And so the fans were kind of on CM Punk's side. And I think this set the whole feud off on a bit of a weird tangent where the crowd couldn't really decide who they wanted to win. And there was a lot of CM Punk cowboy shit dueling chants and basically everyone booing, which is wild. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You've got two faces and it feels like the larger reaction for both of them is booing them despite the crowd loving them. It's confused.
Can I do a counterpoint? So I think you're right, Sam. Like that, I think they are both obviously baby faces, but I think in the build, depending on where they were at that week, changed the slight dynamic of their relationship. So at some places, CM Punk was more of a heel than Hangman was. So certainly when they were at Long Island, because Punk came out in some hockey jersey that I didn't know, and everyone booed him. But then the week after, then Hangman became more of a heel, slightly heel. It was very slight. It wasn't like they're full-blown heel characters, but they just sort of changed the dichotomy that around, depending on where they were throughout the whole build. And they would use each other's finishers. So Punk used the Punk shot lariat to get a bit of heat, and then Hangman used the GTS to win a match as well. And I think you're right about the whole Hangman is trying to make out that Punk is this evil interloper. He's got nefarious plans for AEW, which I quite like because it plays into what Eddie Kingston was saying about Punk during their feud, and that he's like this sort of nasty, almost like toxic figure within AEW.
I mean, I can get on board with that. I think kind of if that's the long-term story they're telling, or if there's kind of like going to be a bit of a revolt against wrestlers like CM Punk, like Daniel Bryan, like people who have come in who are big names, and it's like, you're not an AEW original. I'm well on board with that, but I think kind of they need to perhaps start sooner rather than later, rather than let it be this festering kind of wound, really, because I don't know if it works. And I feel like kind of maybe a lot of it is just a kind of an upshot of the fact that Tony Khan basically just hires 1 million people every week.
Yeah.
This takes me back to my thing about the commentary. Is there's earlier on in the night, Andrade introduces Rush as part of his new Los Ingobernables stable. Rush being part of the originals Los Ingobernables back in CMLL.
I didn't know who that was, so that's cool.
No,
yeah,
exactly. Well, I mean, the problem is Andrade says you all know who he is, and then doesn't say his name, and it's like,
I thought, is this going to be Cesaro?
That's the thing.
No,
is that unless you watch CMLL, which let's face it, no one here does. Like I certainly didn't either. I had to look him up. Like, you're not going to know who it is, but it's kind of like, I thought it was Naito at first because you saw the white suit, but the point is that it just didn't land at all. And then they cut back to commentary, and Tony Schiavone just goes, another wrestler on the roster, and it was just like, oh, all right, Tony.
Well, he's saying what we're all thinking.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So I don't know, like the whole thing, if it's looked at through the scope of kind of the new wrestlers who are coming in now that AEW is popular versus the originals, I can totally get behind that, but I feel like they need to do more with that because it just didn't quite land, in my opinion.
No, I think we will be getting a Punk turn, probably not soon, but eventually, and I think that some of this is sort of setting the seeds for that.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is the match itself I thought was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought it was hard hitting. I think Adam Page continues to be one of the most consistently good wrestlers on the roster.
Oh, so good. So good. Did you watch his match against that Japanese dude?
Yes.
Oh my god, that match was insane.
That Takashita is one to keep an eye on because I think he's going to be huge.
So tall. So tall. I think the beginning of this match was killer. Like the striking and the hitting was really hard hitting, and it felt, real, like nasty. I felt it lost its way a little bit in the middle.
I found that.
Maybe they oversold their injuries a bit too much. So you kind of had two guys who barely could stand.
I zoned out a little bit. I found myself sort of zoned out, and I was like, hold on a minute, this is the title match. And then I was like, well, is that because I'm not invested in the storyline and I haven't been following? Because that happened in quite a few matches I was watching, and I was like, I'm not, the match needs to grab me if I'm not invested in the story. But then it did. It fucking caught up.
The end was great.
The end was really good. Really, really good.
I was convinced that he was... Obviously, we had the ref bump, and then... I like the fact of how they got the belt into the ring, for starters. When Hangman chucks Punk over the table...
Felt really natural,
taunts
didn't it?
him with the belt, saying this will never be yours. The ref takes it off and puts it in the corner.
Do you know what? Like, that is exactly what this feud needed more of, was kind of arguing over who is the best in the world. I think that kind of... maybe would have worked a little bit more in general, rather than it being kind of you're an invader. It's more that you say you're the best in the world, but I've worked my way up to the top. I am the best in the world.
Yeah, here's proof I am.
Exactly.
But so when Paige picks up the belt, I was like, oh, cool. So this is actually where we're getting those boos. Let's send him full heel. This is great. But when he decided against it, that was even better.
I was going to say, I love that they didn't turn him heel.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a misstep.
I felt certain one of them was going to turn heel in this match. I was so certain of it when we were going into it.
My belief was I thought we were going to get a Kenny Omega return.
Ooh.
Or some sort of dirty finish, just because I think it's so difficult to play off of babyface versus a babyface for such high stakes, because the way they've done it is masterful. I love the fact that we're going to go back to the Adam Page of crisis of confidence and
self-doubt.
Self-doubt, because I think that's when he's at his best.
Agreed. That would be great.
Yeah.
And so I'm very excited for Page, and I've got to be honest, like, CM Punk as world champion, like, seeing him hold that title belt, tears down his cheek. I welled up a little bit, because
it's a great story,
it's so
7 years
beautiful,
out.
Isn't it? Like,
and he's really worked his way up in AEW. Like, he hasn't come in there straight in the title scene.
And the thing is,
he's
still got it as well, as you can see by the way that he nailed those buckshot lariats.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Sam, he fucked them up.
That's buckshots.
He said in an interview that he's got them right, like he's nailed it in practice and other times, every single time, and then in the main event match of the big pay-per-view, he fucks it up.
The thing is that, it's just like, the man has been on a journey, like, kind of, he's been constantly in the sphere of wrestling, even when he hasn't been wrestling, and whether that's for good or bad, he's been all the way to the bottom. He's kind of had to work his way up. It's a real, like, for me, this is the kind of wrestling story where one day you could make a film about it and it would play and it would work, because it's just so, it's really pleasing to see someone who loves something so much lose all of that and kind of lose his passion, only to come back and reach the top of the mountain. I mean,
I just had a vision of John playing CM Punk in the film of his life.
Right.
And then I was thinking, John, you need to do cosplay. When we get to episode 200, let's do cosplay of some wrestlers. I mean, I haven't got much to choose from, but CM Punk for you, John.
I was watching this with my wife, the main event, and she was gushing over CM Punk.
It's hard not to love him. That's the thing.
So who have we got? CM Punk, Vader. I'm sorry. Sam, you're not Vader, but I can imagine you in a Vader costume. That would be amazing.
Haven't you gone dressed as Mankind?
I have dressed as Mankind.
Yeah, and because we did a fat shaming joke earlier, I decided to do it. Sam is not fat, listener. You can't see him right now. He's never been fat, but he's...
Shall we move on to the best of the rest?
Even more svelte now. Yes. I feel bad, Sam. You didn't laugh at it.
No, it's fine, Adam.
I feel like I've offended you.
No, you're right. I'm teaching you what it's like to tell a joke and then having someone laugh at it.
Okay.
It hurts.
Okay, you're right. Anyway, let's move on to the best of the rest. Let's forget my dreadful joke at Sam's expense. And by the way, we know Brett would come as Daniel Bryan. So,
oh my word,
easily. Man, we'd have Best in the World and Daniel Bryan on the same pod.
Who would I be?
This is a left field shout.
Who would you be?
I reckon Adam could be a good Charlotte. You kind of got like the physique.
I was about to say the John Cena of our pod, but
John Cena. John Cena makes more sense.
I'm actually not too upset with that.
Be
which
obvious
is weird.
and go
I
John
mean,
Cena.
I've got to be honest, Adam. The other week when you were skipping the pod, we were comparing you to the Cody Rhodes of the pod. So maybe.
Oh yeah, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
That's where you should get the Chatmax tattoo on your neck.
Yeah,
that's going to be a reference that no listeners are going to get.
I think we've referenced it on an early episode, so that's okay. I'm not too disappointed with Charlotte, and I'm going to see about getting myself a massive cloak and some big rude fake boobs.
Rude fake boobs.
I've lost complete track of where we're going.
Best of the rest.
Best of the rest. I'm going to go first with best of the rest.
Go on then, John.
Because this was my match of the night.
Oh, I think it's going to be the same. We always concur on these things.
And it's weird because I've hated what they've been doing with this team on Dynamite, but it is House of Black versus Death Triangle.
Oh, I did like this, but I thought you were going to talk about something else. I did really like this, actually.
Absolutely, like a proper indie match. This everyone doing crazy bumps all the time, no rest holds, everyone up doing stuff. Brody King doing a senton over the ropes, but smashing his back onto the.
Love that. He fucking went for it.
He did went for it, and it was just. House of Black got so many talented people and 3 amazing wrestlers in it.
I think
and
it's
their
working.
Stuff on TV has been. I don't know. There's been in really shitty feuds that don't make any sense.
I haven't watched any of that, but I do like the look of them when they come down, and
Yeah,
I appreciate
they look great.
That face paint. Was that just for the pay-per-view, or the black and white on all 3
That
of them?
was just for the pay-per-view. Normally,
it's just Aleister Black.
Malachi Black just has the stuff over the eye.
Oh, I liked it. I liked it with all 3 of them. I think they should keep that up.
Yeah, I think it was just really good, and I think this was a match they were meant to do ages ago, but then obviously Ray.
It was, yeah.
Ray got injured.
The Canadian
I think they've been
Destroyer on the apron. With the little run up the back. Oh, that was so good.
Oh yeah, Penta's back. Yeah, that bit was
yeah.
killer. Oh, this match was so good. I loved it. Made me smile a lot.
What's the deal with Julia Hart?
Julia Hart was attacked by Malachi Black when he first debuted. He was just kind of spitting mist into people's eyes. And he did it to Julia, who was part of the Varsity Blondes. And since then, she's been wearing an eye patch. And slowly over the weeks, the black behind the eye patch has been building outwards. And she's been getting a little bit more violent. And a couple of weeks ago, it all came to a head where she nearly joined the House of Black and she didn't.
Right.
And now she has.
And is she, who is she? Because I don't know. And I see the name Hart, and I'm like, is she part of the Hart family?
I don't actually think she is part of the Hart family. I think she is just...
Okay, I'm just on her Wikipedia right now, and I couldn't see anything about that.
She doesn't even wrestle, does she? I've never seen her wrestle.
Well,
no, she does wrestle.
She was in the Owen Hart Cup. She lost to Shida in the qualifying round.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
According to Wikipedia, which is where we get most of our info from. Again, because I didn't know who that was. I quite liked it, but then it's like, well, how many of these matches? I at one point I was like, I wonder if they've moved on from the Black Myth. Oh no, then we get it again.
Yeah,
but I don't mind.
But very fun match. Enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
Adam, so what did you think I was going to say? What was your...
My number 1 match was a match that you didn't need to know any of the build of, and I fucking loved it. It was Anarchy in the Arena.
No, really?
It was so good. I love the
I
fact
did
that
not like
they all
this.
came out, they started fighting when the music was playing, and then they fucking they played the whole song, and then they played the whole song again.
Do you know who that's a reference to?
No.
New Jack used to do that.
Ah, okay.
Oh, is that a reference you want to be making?
Well, in this match, maybe a New Jack reference was quite appropriate.
Yeah. I think when they all started going off in separate directions, this never works, this is annoying. But I think AEW did a really good job of cutting to each bit as we were getting good moments. Or if they missed a moment, we got a replay pretty quick. There are so many great moments in this. Daniel Bryan didn't really do much for about 3/4 of the match until he got in the ring.
He was just doing punches in the stand with that one poor guy.
We had the amazing sight of zombie Eddie Kingston with a big thing of gasoline.
That bit was amazing when he came walking down the ramp with this gasoline.
Yeah, Jericho and Mox. Cool. We had mobility scooters that didn't work. We had forks. We had a lot of blood. I loved it. I really did love it.
I can imagine this is a match that divides a lot of opinions between either loving it or hating it. For me, I did love this match because of how silly and how camp it was in such a kind of extreme way. Starting off with the Jericho Appreciation Society coordinated outfits, which just reminded me of the. You ever seen that episode of It Was Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they become their own police force?
I don't know, maybe. I've seen everything except the last couple of series.
Anyway, they're basically with the berets and batons and stuff. Yeah, so coming out with just the most dislikable outfits. And then the match in and of itself was just an incredibly funny spot fest with just a lot going on. The music playing out was fantastic, I thought. Especially with Jericho eventually destroying the soundboard, because I was just like, I don't know how many more times I can listen to Wild Thing.
I was kind of hoping it would play again, because it's so weird to watch wrestling with music. And I was like, I like this.
It really
chaos.
is, but I thought it was good. It just kind of, at first it was like, is this a mistake? And then it was like, all right, this is kind of annoying. And then it goes all the way around from annoying back to, all right, this is actually kind of funny now.
Speaking of annoying, Everton guy was there in the crowd in his Everton shirt.
Kyle.
Yeah, funny that we saw him at the...
I know, right? He's everywhere.
The Yes thing,
Yes
right?
movement.
Occupy Raw.
Yeah.
That's it. And then we're
going to make him the new Brett eventually.
I think that would he'd be insufferable.
God, how much money has he spent on wrestling, that guy?
I know.
Way
10 years
too
now.
much.
Anyway, I loved it.
The match was really good, and I love the way it all falls apart with the gasoline.
Yeah,
I have to say, I thought the match, it was too chaotic for me, but I thought the ending was cool. Like with Eddie coming down with that gasoline point of Daniel Bryan kicking off. Like, what the fuck are you doing? You're not gonna kill him.
I'm a little bit disappointed.
Like, I'm gonna fucking kill him.
I'm disappointed that no gasoline got set on fire, but I imagine it's just too difficult to pull off.
I love Eddie Kingston, man. He is.
We can't trust Eddie Kingston with explosives. We've seen it before in an AEW ring. It probably he'd try and light it. It would just go. Pff. That'll be it. Anything else? Best of the rest? I think we've covered everything I like. Oh no, there is one more. But would it be Kyle O'Reilly versus Darby Allin?
No.
Okay.
That was a great match, though.
That was a good match, though.
Really good,
enjoyable.
Really, really good match.
Violent. Didn't think Kyle O'Reilly was going to go over.
Can we talk about? I mean, if we're talking about that, what was the weird botch with Darby Allin when he went out and sort of did a flip instead of a?
Yeah, caught his foot, didn't he?
They didn't replay it. They didn't do the replay.
No, they tried to. They've famously have problems with their replays in AEW.
Okay, that's that match done. Sam, what was yours?
Match was fine. Match of the night for me was Thunder Rosa versus Serena Deeb. I thought this was excellent. I thought this was an absolute clinic of wrestling.
They gave it a lot of time as well.
I
think it was 20 odd minutes. It was maybe not quite that long.
I think
it was quite long. This
was excellent. I thought the combination chain wrestling that both of them were doing and how hard hitting it was. I think Thunder Rosa is an excellent wrestler. I think Serena Deeb is a fucking amazing wrestler who is very underrated. I don't think her promos are that strong, but I think her in-ring ability is really, like, her saying she's the professor of professional wrestling doesn't feel like an empty title. She is really good at what she does, and I think she made every single submission that she put on look incredibly painful. I love the story of the match. I think kind of AEW women don't get a lot of praise, but this card had 3 women's matches on it, and this was, in my opinion, the best match, not just out of the women, but of the night.
I love Thunder Rosa. Thunder Rosa is a superstar now, and I love her whole look, and I love the video for this was really cool. I love the makeup that she does and her outfits, and that does mean a lot to me in wrestling. And I just think that's great that we have another sort of top level star in the women's division. The problem I had is the classic for me is that, Sam, you sent a message saying along the same lines in the group, wow, the women's division has arrived, incredible match. So when I got to it, I was like, right, here we fucking go. And then it wasn't quite as good as that, but maybe if I hadn't read that, that's my problem. If something's supposed to be amazing, then sometimes it under delivers. But it was good. The pendulum thing was it Thunder Rosa?
Thunder Rosa did it to Serena Deeb, and I thought it was so cool.
That looked really cool, and there were in fact, thinking about it, it was fucking cool. But in the moment, I wasn't as into it as you.
I think this is a match which is a sleeper hit. I think it's the kind of match that you can go back to in a few months' time, watch it in isolation, and just be like, this is an absolute clinic of wrestling. And
I like the way you say, and we can watch it in a few months' time in isolation when the next coronavirus comes.
Exactly. Can we just do a shout out as well for Jurassic Express, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland versus Team Taz?
Great match. There's 2 spots in this match I want to mention.
Go on then.
Ricky Starks walking the ropes and blowing kisses into the crowd. Lovely stuff. Never seen it. Great.
Yeah.
And Swerve using Keith Lee's chest as a springboard.
Hell yes. Man,
That was good.
I was convinced that Jurassic Express were going to lose this.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought it
surprised.
was,
I'm surprised they retained.
I really thought it was Hobbs and Stark's time.
Yeah, I knew it wouldn't be Lee and Swerve because they're too new, and well, I'm assuming they've just been chucked together. I don't actually
Do you know what? They have been chucked together, but they're pretty good
Yeah.
as a tag team. I wouldn't mind watching them continue. I'd love seeing Keith Lee do his "Oh my God."
Yeah, I was going to say we saw that at Riptide. We didn't
He
ever
looks so
see
happy,
it.
doesn't he?
We never saw that in
Oh, I'm
WWE.
so-
Yeah, happy. He's enjoying it.
It's
himself.
really great to see them wrestling together. I think they bounce off each other physically and metaphorically really well.
Yeah.
Their tagged finisher is really great.
Yeah.
That big bomb stomp. And yeah, the only thing is I'm convinced that this is going to happen at some point in the immediate future. I think Christian is going to turn on Jungle Boy.
Yeah, it feels like that's been on the cards for ages.
Yeah, I keep thinking it at the moment, and I'm just like, at some point...
I think I'd be up for it as well. Like,
Yeah,
I don't really care about Christian, but
I don't care about Christian either, but I like Jungle Boy. And man, those guys are killing it. And that was just a really great match.
yep.
Okay.
Worst. I think there's only one thing to talk about with the worst, unless I'm mistaken.
No, I didn't, because I had to try and fit all this. I didn't really want to watch. I didn't watch any other matches apart from the ones we've talked about now. So leave this to you guys. Worst of the rest.
All right. American Top Team versus Frankie, Sammy, and Tay. What is going on here?
This match was a mess. Two, the builders of this was a mess. I love the fact they tried to make Sammy and Tay a babyface couple, get them smooched in the ring. That'd get them won over with the fans.
What are they thinking? Like, it just isn't going to fly.
No.
Like, it didn't work with Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. Why is it going to work with Sammy Guevara and Tay Conte?
It never works. Wrestling fans hate love. Don't like
Yeah.
love.
It's just mental. We want to see people pretend to fight each other.
Or actually have sex.
Or actually have sex, that's fine.
It's a shame though, because there's some talented, like Sammy's super talented. Ty Conti's pretty
Lots
good
of-
as well. Frankie Kazarian's
lots of-
underrated.
Talent here. Like,
Scorpio
I
Sky.
think the TKO is one of my favourite finishers in wrestling at the moment. I really like it, and I really like Scorpio Sky. The problem with American Top Team is Dan Lambert.
I can't believe he's still hanging around. Yeah,
Dan Lambert fucking sucks. He is everything wrong with just like that whole culture, and that's fine when you're playing it up as a heel who gets their just comeuppance and they always come off as second best. Like MJF does it really well. He's hateable, but my God, he take a punishment. Dan Lambert just walks around calling people snowflake and saying that's the problem with women these days and stuff like that, and then never gets any comeuppance. And then all of a sudden, to try and flip it to American Top Team being the faces here, it's just like, what are you doing? You got this asshole with you. Like, oh God, just a mess.
weird, very weird.
It doesn't work at all.
No,
Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky are good.
yeah, that's all we can say about this. I think.
Okay. That's it matches wise. Have we done all 12 matches there?
No, I've got one more worst of the
we've got the
rest.
Jade Cargill match that we haven't mentioned, but
Not that one.
okay.
That was all right. A lot of so much
It's fine.
interference with that
Jade
match.
is learning. They're brought in a bunch of new wrestlers. It's fine. I'm happy to see Stokely Hathaway there.
You're going to talk about the
Hathaway
Hardys,
there.
aren't you?
I'm talking about the Hardys versus the Young Bucks. My
Oh,
ongoing
wait.
tirade.
No.
No, my ongoing campaign
No.
to stop Attitude Era wrestlers from having spots on current modern cards. Just stop it. Oh my God. Did this match really bring anyone any joy whatsoever? Seeing the ghosts of the Hardy Boys lumber around a ring, just about. And they even made the Young Bucks have a bad match.
I mean, watching the Hardy Boys or brothers, whatever, kin, makes me feel so depressed these days.
The Hardy Grandad.
But I have to say, by the end of this match, I was enjoying it.
And then the Hardys go over.
You got
What
to
are
put the
they
young guys.
doing?
They're boys, Sam. They're boys.
Oh my God. I hated this. I hated it with every fibre of my being. So,
There we go.
yeah, I don't know what to say. I just don't want to see Attitude Era wrestlers going over current talent.
Fair enough. Can't argue with that. Matt Hardy should have retired long before he smashed his head on the concrete. What was that, like a year ago or two? Anyway.
Well, the thing is that Jeff is now going to take a bunch of time off to recover from injuries.
Yeah.
He's only been at AEW for like a few weeks.
Yeah, but in those 3 weeks, he has done some fucking crazy shit.
Yeah, that's the problem. In those few weeks, he's jumping off like windowsills and massive ladders and gone through tables and chairs. And it's just like, Jeff, you're 44 years old, mate. Don't do it.
When he gets to the top of every bit of one of those spots, you can see him do an audible.
Yeah, it's insane. It just, like, at least Matt had the foresight to think, do you know what? My gimmick's just going to be, I'm going to make 20 gimmicks.
Yeah. And
not all of them are going to be wrestlers. Some of them are going to be managers. Jeff, man, just stop.
I do really worry about Jeff Hardy. Like, seriously, I just, worry.
He gets up there and he's like, well, I've got to get my paycheck. I've got to self-fund my next album. Nobody else is going to pick it up.
I loved the Hardy Boys back in the day, and I liked them as individual wrestlers, and their day has come. It has gone. Come on.
It's just when he takes his shirt off.
Don't need the Hardys wrestling.
Jeff, maybe keep the shirt on for this one, mate.
Right. Any other business, guys? Are there any other details? Obviously, we spent a lot of time slugging off the length of the pay-per-view, which we've done.
And then we made a really long podcast about it.
Yeah. All right, 1 hour and 7. We try and always go for an hour. So when it you might have listeners probably noticed when we're all like laid back chatting about every single detail, and then the final 20 minutes were like this. Let's do Star Performer.
Any other details?
Let's do Star Performer.
Yeah.
Who's yours, John?
It's got to be CM Punk, I think.
Yeah. Sam, do you have anyone different?
Yeah, I think CM Punk is the right choice.
I was trying to think if I could pick anybody from the Anarchy in the Arena match, but no, let's go for CM Punk. Overall rank, I probably can't take part in this because there are 3 matches or so that I didn't watch, and they were probably the worst matches or just matches I wasn't interested in, so it'd be unfair, I think. So this is going to be on you guys. Okay. Score out of 10.
Shall I go first?
This will be easy to work out the average at least. Yeah, go on, Sam.
I'm going for 8.
Oh, straight in there from John.
I was going to go for a 7.
Oh, 7.5.
So straight up 7.5.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it was some great matches, and also a few duds.
I think 7.5 for a pay-per-view that's nearly 5 hours long is a very impressive score. It also equals our 2021 review of Double or Nothing, which amazingly enough was reviewed by 2 people, Sam and John.
Oh, really?
He also gave it 7.5. So
interesting.
There we
I
go.
wonder if was that just a 2-man pod, or maybe it was the same? That was
just a 2-man pod. You missed it. Brett missed it. Brett misses all of them.
Yeah, that's mad. It's a shame for me, and we will wrap things up. But we were quite close. I felt like I was very close to getting a perfect 10 pay-per-view at some point from AEW, but they've just really overindulged themselves in every wrestler they have on the card. At least. WWE have had the courtesy of splitting things between 2 nights to try and get everybody on there. But some of these matches, like you said, didn't even feel worthy of a pay-per-view. So hopefully they'll come back stronger.
NXT New York was the one, Adam, but you chickened out.
Well, that had Velveteen Dream on it, and I had this feeling about him. I just knew. Okay, there we go. Let's have a little sting. We'll come back, wrap things up, talk about our plans, and say goodbye.
Had time to avoid it.
Oh, what an explosion of a human body on the ring apron.
The hardest part of the ring.
Yeah, very small, if any, padding. It's basically that mat you're looking at. And that damn thing is nothing but feels like, I don't know, sandpaper.
Next podcast will be in 2 weeks' time, when I believe it's written down here. Will it be the final episode of Follow the Feud? John, is that what you're thinking?
Should we just get it done? It's quite an easy one. Just 2 matches to watch.
I think so. I think that would be pretty exciting to watch the culmination of that feud. So go back and listen to those episodes if you haven't already, unless you have any objections there, Sam.
No, I'm all up for that. I don't like the way feud has been spelt here. Should be with 2 O's.
John has written, follow the fooed. So, yeah, why not? Let's just point out mistakes.
After that...
Is that really not how you spell it?
F-E-U-D.
F-E-U-D.
But then, after we've finished with Follow the Feud, June 26th is an AEW event that I feel like, even if it's me on my own doing it, I might need to...
you could definitely do that.
Put together a podcast, because we've got AEW and New Japan presents Forbidden Door.
Yeah, I mean, I can't wait for that.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun, but I'm all in.
Well, I'm worried that it's going to be 7 hours. But, I mean, if we end up with Will Ospreay versus fucking CM Punk or something...
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about Ospreay.
I can't wait.
It can be fine. Okada.
Oh, tasty.
Yeah.
Toriano versus anyone.
Orange Cassidy, that's the
let's
match.
Let's have 6 great matches. Let's not have everybody against everybody else. That's my request.
Yeah, fine.
Okay. All right.
Let's
John, if people want to get in touch.
Oh, so they can email us hardestpartofthering@gmail.com, or they can get us on social media at hardestpartpod. And if they would like to buy us a virtual coffee, it's ko-fi.com, HPOTR.
Shout out to Adam Hepton, who gave us a few coffees, contributed.
Legend, thank you.
To go along with a few other people who've done it in recent weeks. We very much appreciate it. We're slowly approaching episode 200. We're putting a lot of graft, and it's very nice to get that little gesture in our little inbox, which goes through to a PayPal that only I have access to, I believe.
Yeah, thanks for that, Adam.
All right.
But thank you seriously for contributing. It means the world to us.
It does. Literally, for Sam, it is his world. He's relying on it. He's quit his job.
I quit my job for this pod.
We did. And we promised him we'd make loads of money, and 5 years later, we literally...
People who I work with recently found out I make this podcast, and now are like, oh, I don't watch wrestling, but I'll give it a listen. So occasionally, people who I work with now listen to this pod.
Right.
And then say, oh, it's very nice.
Very nice.
It doesn't sound like you do a lot of work in the day.
Interesting.
No one at my work knows I do this pod. In fact, at work they were discussing, should we start up a podcast? And I was just keeping stum.
That's the thing. It is like at times in some conversations, some instances, it's like a dirty little secret. But then you meet a wrestling fan, and then
Oh yeah. Well, they recognise us.
I'm part of hardest part of the ring,
yeah,
and then they go like, the hardest part of the ring, and then we say, yeah, not that weird American one that copied our name.
Yeah, fuck them. Anyway, thanks very much, everybody, for listening, and we'll be back in a couple of weeks for that final of Follow the Fooed. Until then, it's goodbye from Sam.
See you
goodbye
later.
From John.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from me, Adam. That was the hardest part of the ring.
That is the hardest